Tippy time, my damies, Topcat here, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back on our solar warlock and on the ever popular well super. Today's video is not going to be an unkillable infinite melee grenade DPS monster. Today's video is about me being the best goddamn combat medic there is. We will not just be consistently giving our team the mega heals. We are also going to be consistently buffing the damage output with one of the strongest buffs currently in the game. With the Divinity getting that fat nerf, I've begun looking at other avenues to maximizing your DPS, and I'm honestly quite surprised on how slept on the combination of Boots of the Assembler and the Lumina are. So hopefully with this bit I can convince you how strong they are. If I did, please consider subscribing. It's easy, you can always undo it later if you don't like the content going forwards. But with that being said, let's get into today's video. The Lumina hand cannon is kind of like the good cousin to the bad cousin Thorn, much the same in the way it actually works. It is a 140 RPM archetype. Its intrinsic trait, Noble Rounds, kills with this weapon leave behind remnants. Absorbing these remnants converts your next hipfire shot into an ally seeking Noble Round and partially refills your magazine. Its trait, Blessing of the Sky, using a Noble Round on an ally heals them and grants them both you and them a weapon damage bonus for a short duration. Also, the Catalyst is going to give you 2, not 1 Noble Rounds upon a kill, so a lot better if you have the Catalyst. The Boots of the Assembler, Armor perk, Blessing of Order. Standing in a healing rift creates noble seekers that seek out allies that are not in the rift and heal them. Standing in an empowering rift creates noble seekers that grant both you and the ally a damage bonus. Each time a noble seeker finds one of these allies, the duration of your rift is briefly extended whilst you are standing in it. Provides moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness stat with the hand cannon, the Lumina, so great marriage. I generally will be running the empowering version of the rift as I got enough heals with my grenades, but in say like master level daughters, which I ran yesterday, having the healing rift really was quite beneficial to give my team all those heals whilst we're getting rained down fire by snipers. So either or really doesn't matter. On Golgoroth I love empowering, so make up your own mind in that regards. So now we'll put these two together, head into our favourite Lost Sector and do some damage tests here. So at base our hand cannon is doing 4942, chuck down an empowering rift, and we're going to be getting 5930, that's a 20% buff. Chuck on Radiance, and that's also going to stack up to 6177. This is the same damage value. If we drop a well down, we'll still get that 6177. So by ourselves, very good damage that we can already just proc off, okay? Zay was kind enough to bring her Boots and Lumina to give me a test. So at standard, we're doing 12,320. She hits me with the empowering rift, 16,632, and lastly hits me with the Noble Round from the hand cannon, and this is going to bump me right up to 17,696. Our first fragment is perhaps the most important one to use. It's going to tie all the rest of them together in a nice little bundle. Ember of Benevolence, applying Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to allies, grant increased grenade, melee, and class ability restoration for a short duration. This stacks up to 3 times. So Restoration, of course, is going to give us health back over time. Cure is an instant heal, and Radiant is our increased 15% damage bonus. Our first ability that's going to help our Benevolence work is the Healing Grenade. This grenade cures allies on impact and gives them restoration for 5 seconds. This is really good. You can give a good yeet on it and just help their team out. He's standing on that plate getting railed. This comes in handy. Touch of Flame Solar Aspect is going to give us our second Benevolence buff. We're using our Healing Grenade, of course. This is enhanced functionality, improves the strength of the cure and the restoration, so this will give us restoration times 2. Your third Benevolence activator will be your Rift. With that healing or empowering, it's still going to have the same effect of stacking that Benevolence. When it comes time to picking your melee, of course choose whichever one you like. I have been favouring the Celestial Fire. This sends out 3 explosive solar energy blasts, scorching targets for each hit. I just find this a lot more directional, so I can get that buff easier, and particularly when you're in the air, it seems to work a lot nicer in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, the finger snap is good, but I tend to use that melee more so if I'm going for like a scorch and ignitions build, as I find that's going to target more enemies. We will of course be using Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant. This will give you that 15% damage bonus to all your weapons. We want to get this melee available to us as often as possible. This is one of the reasons I'm using heat rises, not just for the grenade, buffing that cure activation and giving us better line of sight, but if we also get melee kills in the air, it's highly beneficial, as every time we hit things with a melee, it's going to feed back melee and keep that loop going. As I stated at the beginning of the video, we are of course using the Well of Radiance as our super. The Dawnblade is not terribly great when it comes to DPS anymore. This is very good, particularly when I pair it up with the Lumina. I can just shoot the Lumina noble rounds at my teammates and give them the same damage buff that I've got in my well, and that way we can attack this boss from 2 different angles, just railing him, confusing him, and he does not know what just hit him. For our last fragment slot, I have 2 options. Ember of Combustion. Final blows with your solar super cause targets to ignite. Now, for this, being that we don't actually chuck anything, we can actually just use a solar weapon in here, and this will force ignite any ad that you shoot. So very good at ad clear. Not everything's a DPS mechanic activity, so this is just great for ad clear. I've been using my favorite fixed odds. It's also got incandescent on it as well, so you're always going to make a big splash with this weapon. It works great for ad rich environments like GMs. I use it on things like totems, duality second encounter, pit second encounter, grasp second encounter, many of the Vow the Disciple raid encounters. So yeah, very good option for anything like this. Just load up, slay out, burn out. If however you don't intend on using your well as a defensive weapon, Ember of Tempering is also good. Solar weapon final blows grant you and your allies increased recovery for a short duration. This stacks up to 3 times, so pretty much takes your recovery from 70 to 100, so it allows you to not spend as much on your recovery of your build, as you'll be getting another plus 30 by using Ember of Tempering, just by using your solar weapons. My solar weapon of choice for this build is the Cartesian Coordinate. Great for DPS, ad clear, anything of the likes, rapid fire, Vorpal, you cannot go wrong. Particularly if you stack in that 35% damage bonus to both you and your allies, everything is just going to dissipate in front of you, and that encounter will be done and dusted. When it comes to your armor mods, I've been favouring a grenade build, as I've been loving the empowering rips, so I've gone with firepower, kinetic siphon mod, a second firepower, impact induction, causing damage with melee, reduces grenade cooldown, and focusing strike grants class ability with damage from melee. A third firepower mod, thermoshock plating, concussive dampener, and a fourth firepower mod, and we've got enough space here for a scavenger, whatever you're using, taking charge, and lastly ×2 bomber mods, just so we get reduced grenade cooldown when using our class ability. And with all that said and done, that is our build. We can now give well-like damage whenever we want to our fire team and our subs, so we can just keep on nailing down those bosses and utterly destroying them. Anyway, my damies, that is the video for today. If you did enjoy it, please hit that thumbs, it goes a long way. If you're new and you really did enjoy it, please hit that subscribe. If you've got any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. But until next time, tippy tie my damies. What a tie.